Tennessee, the Volunteers, another one of those teams that has a quarterback battle going on right now. It feels like Josh Heupel does, like, the floor for Josh Heupel can only be so low no matter what the quarterback position looks like. He's going to find a way with the defense and the run game. Interesting year coming up for Tennessee in the post-Nico departed era, the post-Joey Aguilar era. We have a real quarterback battle going on in Knoxville. What's the win total for Tennessee, JD?
Kato, this might be one that we make some money on here as well with our friends at BetMGM. You ever see the movie Sully or Captain Sully, whatever it's called?
Of course, Sully, of course.
My guy who lands the plane that's like all screwed up and he lands it in the Hudson. That's Josh Heupel. This roster's screwed up. We don't know who's playing quarterback for you. We brought a bunch of guys in through the transfer portal on defense. I think Vegas is looking at Tennessee as a busted-up plane and not accounting for the Sully of Josh Heupel. I think they're putting that number at 6.5 for the Vols, and I will take the over on that.
Well, JD, I think BetMGM's been watching the show and hearing what you've been saying about Josh Heupel too, because they actually have it at 7.5. They put some respect on Josh Heupel's name, and I think 7 wins is probably around the floor for Josh Heupel at this point, barring some serious just incompetence at the quarterback position. I think if you've got enough, Josh Heupel can make it work, man. I'm thinking about if any of these cats in this quarterback battle can be what Nico was 2 years ago, which was really just a game manager. And I think if the Jim Knowles defense comes along, and you can't see the defense getting any worse than it was last year, right? I think all things considered, this is an extremely fair number, and I think Josh Heupel will do his magic with what he has. I think the outcome of Tennessee's season is more so about what they have on their roster versus what they're getting out of it, because I think Josh is going to make the most of the situation.
No, I completely agree. Like, looking at that quarterback room, if any of those dudes weren't good enough to be at Tennessee, Josh Heupel would have gone somewhere else and made a bigger splash in the transfer portal. Like, I understand Ryan Staub isn't the guy, if you're a Tennessee fan, that gets you super hot and bothered and has you buying hotels for the college football playoff and second-round games. But, like, looking at what George McIntyre was as a recruit, I know there's some unknown there. In fact, there's a ton of unknown there. Hasn't started a game yet as a college quarterback. But as a prospect, like, this dude was sought after by just about everybody in the country. Like, when he committed to Tennessee, that was a massive deal for Vol fans. So I understand there's some questions about his weight and what's he going to look like in the system. As of right now, it's hard to say he's not a leader in the clubhouse with his familiarity with the scheme, with the tempo, how to practice as a college quarterback for Josh Heupel. So that's the guy that I've circled. But, Kato, we've talked about it a couple times. The defense, man. The defense, I think, could be ahead of schedule with Jim Knowles calling the show. He brought 4 transfers, I believe, with him from Penn State, at least one at every level of the defense. So I understand there's a lot made about how his defense is hard to learn, and it takes a second to instinctually be able to play football within the confines of what his defense requires, but having some guys that already have a year under their belt in that system that can help guys next to them at all 3 levels of the defense, I think that's going to pay some dividends. Biggest question for me is the defense, as it progresses, able to buy some time for whoever's playing quarterback to grow? Whether it's Staub from Colorado, whether it's Faison Brandon, the 5-star true freshman in the future of Tennessee football, or whether it's GMAC, there has to be, I think, a little bit of an allowance from the defensive side of the football to allow them to kind of ease into this thing. If we hit the ground running and in the first month of the season it's like, hey, we need you to score 40 every game, it's not going to be an ideal way to live. But, Cato, you mentioned it, being able to kind of have a game manager-ish approach from Heupel and his football team to be able to kind of slow the game down, much like they did in 2024 when they made the college football playoff, and be able to score less than 30 and still find ways to win football games. I think Deshaun Bishop, 1,000-yard back from a year ago for Tennessee, has got to be the bell cow for them, much like he was a year ago. They're going to lean on him heavily here going into next season. Biggest game for me, third Saturday, man. Alabama, everyone's questioning what Kalen DeBoer's line of scrimmage is going to look like. We're all waiting with bated breath to see who they have at quarterback. If you can beat Alabama, if you can get a win in that game, I don't know what happens the rest of the season for either side of things, but it would feel a lot to me like, okay, things are kind of stabilized. Everybody kind of takes a chill pill. Hey, we beat Bama. We smoked the cigars. Maybe this year isn't the year that we all hoped and dreamed of where we would be when we hired Josh Heupel and looked ahead to 2026. But I think that's one that just kind of calms everyone down a little bit and reassures you have the right guy in-house. So I'm excited, man. I think 7.5, How about BetMGM knowing some ball, man? Never questioned them for it, but no, I'll say that back. I did question them for it. That's why I had them at 6.5 was my guess. But I feel good taking the over there as well. I mean, 8 wins for Tennessee and 26 feels like we're not asking for too much there.
Yeah, again, the quarterback position makes it a scary thing to touch in this month. But what doesn't make you feel very scary is hosting Texas, hosting Alabama, hosting LSU. Like a lot of your hardest games, if you're Tennessee, are at home. You have to go to the 12th man at A&M. But if you get a little bit of something out of the quarterback position, man, I think that'll be a pretty easy mark for Josh Heupel to hit, just given his history. But